us to visit a little bit, and then we start promptly at 6:15. I am so
Carrie did tell me that she's speaking at prison and has been pushed back once. And if any of her voice was left, because her voice is kind of failing her.
Oh, she's got that cold too?
Yes, we're going to try to come after, because she wasn't certain.
Okay. Well, clearly, if the majority are here, it's not a problem, but I just think it might be okay to do it in the right, we're getting here. I was thinking, I wonder if anybody else is wrestling with this, coming from the complete north side all the way up, and then trying to come through and get through Minneapolis, and then you get into St. Paul. It's like, we could leave at least in 5 o'clock. Okay, great. We've done the roll call, so let's go right into the minutes. I think that would be the one. Olivia, looks like she's in. Has everyone had a chance to review the minutes? You're welcome. And if there are any questions or any completions or corrections that we need to do, this is the time. I know that there were a few little glitches, and you know, things happen. We're only human. And the ideal is that we're just creating a record. We're not having to be exact on every moment. But, oh, thank you. If there are no corrections or additions to the minutes, can I get a motion for the minutes to be approved?
I make a motion that the minutes will be approved as it is.
I second. Well, it has been motioned and seconded that the minutes will be approved, and so the minutes are approved. We'll move on without discussion. The next item on our agenda is the financials, and that is...
Okay, so based on the last minute, there was a question about some differences between reports from the previous month and the latest report. And I did check with Tracy, who did explain, as expected, that the difference was based on the monies that were placed into the council's budget to cover legal expenses.
Okay, so it's just a pass-through.
Exactly. It was a total pass-through.
Okay.
So for this month, the operating budget figure is the same as last month, which is $472,666, and leaving us with a checkbook balance of $9,995.46. There's just a couple of very minor notes, which is, changes, and there is a very slight change in the employee development. And when I spoke with Louis just now, then a couple $100 in employee development. And then also a couple of some supplies for this office as well as for the Rochester office were purchased, have not been received yet.
Okay.
And that's about, that is it. There is no glitches, no unexpected changes.
Great. Thank you. Are there any questions? Any clarifications needed? Wonderful. Let's move right along.
Madam Chair, I have a request. Our videographer has another engagement, and he asked if we could arrange the agenda a little bit so that we can see the annual report in video form.
I think those are really important. So that means that you would like for me to delay doing the chair's report?
Right, if that's okay.
Of course.
So would it be all right if I put this under new business? Right?
The highlighting of the video? No, it's actually, it's under the executive director's report.
Oh, it's under the, thank you.
Yes.
No problem. Thank you. Okay, now I'm going to slide over because I want to be able to see, and that's the screen we're going to be using, right? Okay. I'll slide over So how do you guys want to set it up?
I'll let Stephanie introduce you.
Okay.
It's his work.
Well, the video is about 10 minutes long, and I think it's completed. If anybody has any comments, I've worked with a few people who worked here on it, but any comments if you want to add something, but I think it's pretty much, just take a look at it and see what you think.
Okay. Should we dim the lights?
If you could, yeah. And this isn't HD either, it's a screen, so.
What you gonna have to do with that?
Yeah, I think they are all the way off, all the way on. Never done it.
Oh.
I think they're on motion detector.
Okay. What a drag. You gotta get a film. Okay, well,
Well, I'll do the best.
it is what it is.
Yeah.
Take a little music too.
Oh, yeah, it's all together. Actually, these are laptops.
The council was created in 1980 by the Minnesota legislature to ensure that the people of African heritage fully
Now, are there any, can you turn it up there?
and effectively participate in and equally benefit from the political, social, and economic resources, policies, and procedures of the state of Minnesota. This video provides a fiscal 2015 year-end review. We represent more than 320,000 Minnesotans of African heritage, of which 25% are immigrants of Africa. Our headquarters is in St. Paul, and we operate one out-of-state office in Rochester. We support Minnesota's statewide goal to build strong and stable families and communities. At the Council for Minnesotans of African Heritage, we are all about engaging, informing, and empowering our state's Black and African residents.
Council on this budget 15 was required to achieve several legislative issues. We have advised the governor and the legislature on issues confronting our people. We commend the missions in the state African government, serve as referral agencies to state governments to organizations of Black people. Perform studies in the areas of education, employment, human rights, health, housing, social welfare, and economic programs. Provide educational human services, recommendation on the lack of time, investment of Black people, every time that African Black people and their contribution to the state. Led this mandate. During this period, the council board was comprised of 17 members. 10 members appointed by the governor and 4 appointed by the legislature.
The council is funded primarily through the state's general fund and grant opportunities. In fiscal year 2015, the council received approximately $392,000 in state appropriations to perform our work statewide. We also received about $73,000 through an interagency agreement to assist the Department of Human Services recruit St. Paul and Minneapolis residents of African heritage to provide kinship, foster care, and adoption services for children who have been placed in the department's care. 61% of our annual general fund expenditures for fiscal year 2015 were salary-related expenditures. 39% of our funds were used for other operating costs. This past year, we expanded our communications with people of African heritage throughout Minnesota. We also hired 7 short-term experts to assist with specialized technical services that helped us meet our statutory mandate. We ended the fiscal year with approximately $68,000 in surplus funds. 56% of the surplus was returned to the general fund, and 44% was allocated to the state's Odyssey Fund to assist the council with enhancing its technology infrastructure. Enhanced technology will help the council maximize use of social media to strengthen two-way communication with residents across the state. In fiscal year 15, we continue to use community-driven research and decision-making as a foundation for public engagement activities and develop program and policy recommendations to address our community concerns. We began the fiscal year with an economic development training and ended with a rally for foster care and adoption of African heritage children in partnership with the Commissioner of the Department of Human Services. Throughout the year, the Council conducted 12 community gatherings across the state, and constituents told us that equal access to opportunities was their most important concern. In addition, a statewide community concern survey revealed that equal access was the #1 issue among survey participants. Likewise, we published human rights and affirmative action reports that revealed that the state had not made a net increase in funding to the Department of Human Rights in 20 years, has allowed all its state departments to operate with non-compliant affirmative action plans, and has allowed the Department of Administration to maintain disparities in contracting for 16 years. As a result, we provided viable recommendations to improve affirmative action and human rights policies and practices. Our report indicates that issues in the administration to the state of Minnesota's Equal Access and Opportunity Law play a key role in the socioeconomic disparities affecting Minnesota's African heritage and other protected classes in the marketplace. However, recent economic initiatives by Governor Mark Dayton offer some hope. Going forward, the Council plans to continue collaborating with state officials as well as other organizations to work towards equity throughout Minnesota. To ensure Minnesotans of African heritage engage with the legislative process to advance their ideas, the Council employed a civic engagement initiative called Caucus at the Capitol. These gatherings allow our constituencies to gather at the Capitol and be briefed on the status of their legislation, receive training in the legislative process, spend the day meeting with legislators, as well as attend hearings to promote their legislation. The caucus was kicked off with our annual Day on the Hill, where more than 200 residents from around the state gathered to hear from speakers and met with legislators to gain support for their recommendations. We continue to push our community-driven legislation through testimonies, one-to-one meetings with both House and state representatives, and through the distribution of numerous handouts detailing the work we completed with the community. This included data to support our detailed legislative recommendations. The Council spent an enormous amount of time and effort attending hearings, meetings with legislators in both chambers, using both traditional and social media to alert residents and mobilize their participation. In addition to the Council's public engagement activities, we implemented a successful program called Rally for Foster Care and Adoption in partnership with the Minnesota Department of Human Services. This program recruited more than 100 new African heritage families and individuals to begin the process to certify and provide supportive homes for Minnesota's children within the care of the state. We assisted the Minnesota Department of Corrections with receiving the federal Second Chance Act grant to reduce recidivism below its current 37% rate. We actively participated on the Minnesota Department of Human Services Cultural and Ethnic Communities Leadership Council. We served on the Minnesota Interagency Council on Homelessness to address this troubling form of housing insecurity in the state. We participated on the Office of Minority and Multicultural Health Advisory Committee to eliminate health disparities. We worked with MNSHORE, Business and Consumer Committee, which provides guidance on questions or issues to MNSHORE Board of Directors. We collaborated with the African American Leadership Forum and the Humphrey Institute to host leadership fellows who assisted with organization assessment and surveys. And finally, we participated with the startup of the Department of Human Services Community and Partner Relations Administration, which will work collaboratively across the agency with external partners and with community members to achieve community service goals. In fiscal year 15, the legislature passed and the governor signed a bill to restructure the council. In addition to other measures, the restructuring changed our name to the Council for Minnesotans of African Heritage. Towards the end of 2015, a new executive director was appointed, Dr. Lewis Porter, a longtime organization development consultant, educator, and writer. As the council enters a new season, we stand committed to continue advocating for the needs of the state's African heritage population. On behalf of the council board, staff, and African heritage community here, we would like to thank the state of Minnesota for ensuring people of African heritage fully and effectively participate in and equally benefit from the political, social, and economic resources, policies, and procedures of this state. Thank you for standing with the Council for Minnesota of African Heritage.
Nobody, he hasn't even seen the computer, right? He's almost completed, but.
That's not completed?
No, it is now.
Oh, okay.
But he didn't see this, nobody saw this version.
Oh, it's okay.
I just earlier a little bit more polished it up.
Yeah, I thought it was, well,
Yeah,
so
everybody did
done.
good on the video.
Next time I would like some powder though, some up to shine. How about you guys? That was the only thing, I was like, I thought.
Hello.
The difficult part was that, getting the right images.
Hello.
And understand what the script.
I can hear it.
Really hard to hear. Is there a way to turn up the volume or
I'll give it a shot.
That must be
move
Representative.
it closer to whoever's talking?
And of course, the sound is from the laptop and it's
Is
much
that a little
better.
bit better now?
I can hear you really good.
So it would have been
So that will
sounding
be on the
better if we
website?
had speakers hooked up.
Yes.
Well, no,
But it sounds great when it's.
But it's difficult when a person is talking when in a conversation with them.
well, are there any questions for Stephanie before you have to take off? Representative Moran, you just missed the new release, or the release of the new video. So we were just commenting on that.
Are you there, Representative Moran?
No, she is not.
Got it.
Okay.
We'll
So
couple them.
Stephanie, is there anything else? Okay. I'm gonna slide back over there and put my back to you unless you.
I might have to talk to Louis, a couple of minutes, he's off.
It has to happen now?
What, can you give me a call tomorrow?
I'm gonna transfer this on your laptop.
Very important.
That's fine. Yes.
Yes.
Yes, fine.
Okay, well, those words are critical. Okay, well.
Thank you.
Thank you. It was a pleasure working with you. Look forward to
Hope she's
having
not
that
calling
released
back
and the
in.
public's feedback to us.
I'll leave this on, is that okay? You can turn it off later?
I think.
I can take care of it, sure.
Sounds like it. Do you have your parking things anywhere that I can hand it to him? Oh, right down on the stand. That'll work out nice. Great. Oh, because we, have so much to cover, we're gonna keep rolling right along.
Put it on the desktop.
Yes.
And I'll do that.
Well, I was gonna say, Louis, since we are in the, video mode, do you have your,
1 second, I'm trying to get.
I can see that,
Moran
I
back.
realized that, you were trying to get her back, and that's important. Stephen, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you.
We'll share with you the comments that we received when, it's posted on our website.
It's kind of the same style as last year, but it's a little longer.
So different, people too, so, you know,
Yeah,
there
but
might be.
the same, I added the same style.
Yeah, might be some feedback. My family didn't see it last year, so I'm sure they'll have some comments about it this year. Probably the same for yours as well.
I just texted the call back.
And your hair's so different. Yeah,
Take a little
Okay,
bit off.
good.
yeah, that's very interesting. Should we wait with you, or can we keep moving?
Representative Moran, are you there? Hello? Wow,
Okay.
we should just keep moving. The line is back open for anyone who wants to call in. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, why don't we
Yes,
keep?
I do
Oh,
know that.
Oh, okay.
We're glad you could join us.
Sorry we lost you for a moment.
You and I.
You did. I don't know what you did there, but you lost me.
Okay, well, we're glad you're back. We've changed the agenda a little bit. We wanted to have a chance to look at the video, and Stephen had to leave for another appointment, so we jumped to the executive director's report and went to the second bullet there, the viewing of the video version of the annual report. I want to ask, Louis, did you have something else that was video, or did you get the radio?
I did not receive the radio cast
Okay.
yet, so.
Okay, I saw Mr. Bell this morning, and he was so excited because I told him our board was meeting. He says, I'm sending it to him, so,
And the producer was trying to get it to us as well.
yeah, we thought there might be a chance, but sometimes that doesn't happen. What I'm thinking, because they're gonna send it to you on video, I'm sorry, on your computer electronically, why don't you distribute it to us after you get it? Just
Be
forward it
glad
on
to.
to us, and that way we can hear it at our own, time.
Okay.
Okay, great, thank you. And if you are, would you like to continue, or should we jump back? 'Cause ours are-
Whichever you prefer.
why don't you
We
just,
gotta take care of Steve. That's
No, I gave him his pass.
He's all clear.
Yes.
Just on a roll, mine actually just piggybacks onto yours.
Okay.
I want to set the stage a little bit in that you and I talked a great deal this last 2 months, and there is so much happening. Everything that we talk about is so critical that I'm really concerned with the load that we kind of, the structure that we've set up that has created a great deal of work for one individual. So I want to talk about that a little bit in the community. And I'm wondering if all these different things that you are doing will give the board a chance to sort of feel it and walk in your shoes a little bit, as I suppose what I'm thinking about in the committee.
Okay.
So that being said, why don't you take
All
the
right.
lead and share all the many things you've been doing.
Be glad to, and we are very happy tonight to have the community specialist of Rochester, and I put her on first, Cola Nimley, who is going to give highlights and monthly reports and help you better understand how the Rochester operation works. So Cola, I'll toss it to you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here. It's a pleasure meeting all of you. We hang out during the session, so I'm sure I'll have a couch in your office when that time comes.
Sure.
But for the Rochester community, as we all know and see the state grows, the community in Rochester is not an exception to that. Rochester is now the third largest city in the state and have 25% of its population being people of minority, people of color, or whatever it is that we want to call it. We also realize that the state is investing $585 million into the DMC project, Destination Medical Center. And so therefore, the community at large, not just the minority or the community of color, but the community at large is looking at ways to be able to become more inclusive. Diversity, we see it, but what do we do with it? So that is the need of the community right now, creating equity and equal access and equal opportunity. And as a council, you know, having the office there, the council at that time, the board at that time saw the need to have a presence and create visibility for this agency in Rochester. And so therefore, building these partnerships with community organizations such as the Diversity Council, the NAACP, the City Council, County Commissioners, WSU, Winona State University, RCTC, which is where our office is actually at, and engaging the student community to also look at what is it that our young people need as we go through this stage of growing. And go through the growing pains. Are we willing to go through these things together, or are we going to do it in silos? I think the community in Rochester is ready and on board to be able to move forward as one city, one state, one county, whatever it takes to be able to make that happen. The office in Rochester is serving as a point of contact to be able to access those resources both at the local and state level to be able to move the community forward. Yes.
How long has the office in Rochester been open?
Okay, so I started there April 9, 2014. But I know the office was open in 2013. I think November, there was somebody there who left before I was hired. So.
Okay, so but you're 2013 or
2014.
2014.
April 9th.
Okay.
So this year, April was maybe 24 months.
Yes. Okay, thank you.
So.
You can, please continue. I just
Okay.
wanted to ask the question as I was listening to you. I wanted to.
Okay,
have my notes.
so looking at the work that I do, since the council really don't provide hands-on services, but we create the database, the base for resources that we can tap into and refer people.
Right.
But that office becomes the contact point for people when they're looking for services, but also become the contact point for our local legislators. I work very well with all the legislators in Southeast Minnesota to be able to say, okay, what is the community saying? What can we do? Connecting community to the legislative process and connecting them with their legislators so that communication can start to take place. Also, working with the Chamber of Commerce in terms of employment opportunities and things like that. So,
Very good.
yeah.
What can we do here in the metro area to support the work that you're doing in Rochester?
That's a loaded question, but I think one of the things that I'd like to see is to really have this board engage with the community, because I am the only person there, and most often I travel a lot in Southeast Minnesota. As you know, I get invited to different things. I don't serve on any board. The only board I serve on is the Community Engaged Research Board at Mayo.
Okay.
I've tried not to serve on boards, but to plug community members into those areas, because I don't live in Rochester.
Yeah, you're one
I live in
person.
Byron, and nobody knows where Byron is. It's not on the map yet. So, but I think it's very, very important, like you said in the video, to empower the community to have a voice of its own. So I serve in the background to say,
Representative Moran, is that you? I'm not certain who it is, but there's a lot of background noise that's coming in that's stopping the meeting. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay,
so
sorry.
supporting the community to bring them to that point of visibility for themselves as well.
Yes.
Because if you notice, especially the African heritage community have always said, well, nobody cares anyway, well, it's government, nobody's going to listen to us. And I'm saying, no, this is not about me.
Right.
If you find a problem, I don't have the solution. You tell me what you think needs to happen, and I'm bringing them to connect with their legislators to say, well, this is the problem, this is what we think needs to happen in order to start to address that problem. Last section was the very first time that we were able to bring people from Rochester to actually testify in committee. Now, I coordinated that.
Right.
I had no clue what they were talking about, but the people did. So,
I think you're being modest.
well, no, okay, so I don't know anything about urban agriculture.
Okay.
So they were talking about urban agriculture. I have no clue what that is, but community members from Rochester knew what that was, and they were able to testify. So the council providing the opportunity, the transportation to remove one little barrier, such small as transportation, was able to give those people the opportunity to do that.
Wonderful. That's good to hear.
Yeah.
One question. In terms of connecting Twin Cities to Rochester, like you mentioned specifically, there are a lot of Northeast living in Rochester, the third largest city in the state of Minnesota. What are the efforts outside there that are kind of trying to connect public transportation, that whether it is light rail or the express buses or that kind of stuff? Is there like any efforts?
I know, okay, so I know the light rail because I've sat in with a different community discussion around the light rail. It doesn't benefit some of the communities in Southeast Minnesota because it actually cut off Highway 14, which serves as a gateway to Rochester. From Owatonna to Rochester, you go on Highway 14. But if the zip rail goes in, it cuts across 14. So there is a lot of resistance on both sides. It's a good thing, but it will reroute it so that because from Owatonna there's, well, let me go back, Faribault, and then Owatonna, and then there's Dash Center, and then so there's these little small towns in between there, and most people, Mayo Clinic workforce, goes to Rochester. They don't necessarily live in Rochester, but they live in those small towns and drive into work.
Right.
While with the zip rail, that will make that trip longer for them. I don't know if they're going to reroute 14 or not. I don't know a lot about it, but Senator Vicki Jensen and her community, because I think I haven't really read that whole bill about the zip rail, but there's different transportation modes in Rochester that, like the Rochester Transit or whatever, that takes people to the airport and stuff like that. But but when we talk about engaging the community, though, we want to be the ones to say, okay, we will remove this barrier. We don't want to say, well, okay, find your way. Well, committee hearing starts at 1 o'clock in St. Paul. You can find your way to get there. we need to be able to say, okay, you know what, transportation is a problem, we will provide the transportation. And that's what we did last year.
I think that was very good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Are there other questions?
I do. Hands-on services, we don't have any down there, right?
Correct.
Should we?
No. We need to be able to, because if we can get into that much of a deep, then we lose the legislative part of it. We need to be the connector. We need to be the coordinators. I don't want to know how to provide laundry for people. I just want to say, okay, if you need to do laundry, that's the laundromat, or there's the person who provides it. So it also keeps us connected with those organizations in the community that provide those services. So we are not creating competition, we are actually creating opportunities.
Absolutely.
So.
Well, you've got in your report here a lot of conversations about discipline at Rochester schools.
So the OCR report.
Right.
Okay.
So if they're having problems to the point where these discussions have been going on in January, I'm interested in finding out a solution. And if we don't do hands-on services, then what can we do?
Well, okay, so the OCR report, I learned about it on November 11th, on my day off. So I was working. So, this investigation has been going on since 2010 with the U.S. Department of Education, Office of Civil Rights, with the investigation on the disproportionate discipline with the minority kids in the school district. And so when I learned about it, again, you know, I'm not going to people to say, oh, I got you, you're so wrong. You know, I'm saying, okay, what can we do to help you? You know, this is the problem you have. We've been talking about it, but you know, some of the agreements, if I can send you guys those two documents, the results of the OCR report and their requirement and what the school district agreed to correct those things. In that, they're supposed to have I think 3 community meetings to inform the communities, you know, all those things. That final letter came in September of last year. The school board held on to it because they were doing a referendum to get money from the people. So they didn't tell the people until the election was November 3rd, and then until the Post Bulletin called me and said, hey, do you know about this? I was like, no, I never heard about it, you know. So as I talked to the Post Bulletin and said, okay, I will connect with the school district. So I met with the superintendent, who was not happy because I said his answer to the Post Bulletin was not good enough. When he said, well, we are concerned about all of our children's behavior, and I said, that's not the point. The question is, are you concerned about the report of the OCR and their findings, and what are you going to do about it? So I have been involved with the school district. I attended their training with the Great Lakes Equity Group from Michigan because that's what OCR recommended them to do. But and I'm still working with them on that. While that is really good, it doesn't matter how much equity training you get if you don't intend on applying it and implementing it. It's just another words on a piece of paper. So I'm saying, okay, great. So what are we going to do with it? And there were some teachers and principals at that training who said, we need to put some kind of sense of urgency to this. So my role as working for the council and stuff like that is saying, okay, how do we get the community involved? I do have Rochester for Justice, Project Legacy, and the Diversity Council that want to go sit in on a school board meeting. So they called me and said, do you want to go sit in on a board meeting? And I said, for what? What are we sitting in for? I don't live in Rochester, so I'm not allowed to speak at their school board meeting because that's their bylaws. So I said, what are we sitting in for? Rochester for Justice and the Minneapolis NAACP have sent a letter to the school board with 4 demands. And I said, are we sitting in support of that demand, or you know what? No, we just want to go sit in. I can't do that because that's not the role that I play. Because if I go sit in with them, it will be like, oh, the Council on Black Minnesota was here sitting in. For what? But I'm saying, okay, let's bring it. So therefore, the meeting on January 7th that drew about 250 people was, okay, let's bring the community to the school board and the school administration. Let them start talking. I wasn't the one talking. I'm saying I coordinate You guys start talking and figure out the problem. Because when we look at the issues that are raised, that were found, it's not a one-person issue, it's a community issue. All hands on deck. It's the only way we're going to solve that problem. But if the school district is refusing to talk with parents and parents are refusing to talk with school board, who's suffering? The kids are. Because you got to still send your kids to school. It's required, right, Minnesota, or they take you to court. So
that is true. That is the law.
So it's like, so I'm not the one providing the hands-on. Like I was telling you, so there is an organization out of New York that got a contract with the Department of Education, Mouse Technology, to deploy their STEM curriculum in 200 schools in Minnesota. So they called me. I never heard of them before, but this guy sent me an email saying, we are looking for a project manager, can you help us? That's what I do. I'm not a project manager, but I can say, okay, I will put it out to the community. Let's find whether there's organization or an individual that can provide that service, who is on the ground in Minnesota, who knows the educational system, that will be able to move that forward. So I'm doing that. So it's not specifically that I don't want to provide a service, but we can activate those services in the community to start to create the visibility that's needed so we can address the concerns that we have. So.
Benjamin, how do you feel like she's answered your question?
I'm sorry?
Do you feel that?
Well, you know, I mean, if the parents and the teachers from the African American and the African immigrant community are not in some sort of consensus about this discipline issue,
right,
then, you know, if I had a magic wand, it would be to get them together to have this conversation,
right,
to figure out what to do.
Right.
Okay? I mean, I don't know how many schools there are in Rochester. Let's say that there's 10. Let's just say that there's 10. And if the discipline problem is rampant through kindergarten all the way up to the high school, then the what do you call those things? They're the school board needs to be at the table.
Absolutely.
Okay, but I mean, if your office is the only office outside of the Rochester NAACP or whoever else is down there that can address this piece, then, I mean, my suggestion is to do just that. I don't know about this New York company.
Right.
I don't really care about them.
Yeah, I just heard of them.
Does Brenda Casellas know about them? Is probably the most.
Probably the most important piece.
Yeah, and if they're real, then they probably need to go through DOA or DOE before they even talk to you.
Well, yeah, that's what they did, because they already got a contract with the Department of Education. So now they're looking for somebody on the ground, local person. So in terms of bringing the school
has
board...
Has Brenda talked to you about this?
Brenda, no.
No?
And I didn't know about it until I got the article from them too. So see, this is what I'm saying. Like I'm saying, okay, so we are here in the state, but somebody from New York is calling to say, well, this is what we're doing in Minnesota. How come we don't know?
Right. That's a very good question. I do like how you have been strategic, though, in your use of your manpower or woman power.
Yeah. So.
Because you can't be the answer for everything, and you can't be the one that's providing that individual service. You know, there are, of course, resources in the community. I like that you're a conduit to connect those two, and also using your time, like you talked about, rather than just sitting in a meeting and you can't speak because you're not a resident and probably don't have your children necessarily in that school or can't vote. So to have, I think, the wherewithal to connect to other groups that do have those pieces, but giving them that support so that you're coordinating this 250, when 250 people showed up, you guys were there, you were organized, and you were ready to make certain that you were a part of the solution. I think it's wonderful.
I do too.
So I'm a bit confused because I, as a new member on the council, I don't hear a coordinated response. You know, what is the council coordinated response when external sources contact COLA about through an email, through a phone call, through and basically between the lines, are asking her for the response from the council as a representative of the council. So I have that concern living here in this area, but also have this concern because I will be moving to Rochester in June. And I will be a resident. And so what is the coordinated response? You know, I think that our office and our council, we should maybe have a process or a mechanism by which these concerns are brought forward, discussed as a council, and direction given back to offices. In the office now with COLA in Rochester, and as we move forward, who knows, to other areas will also need direction.
I was concerned about that as well, so I've asked COLA if contacted by, when it comes to legislators and legislation for the upcoming session, just let the constituents and the legislators know we are forming that. We're having some public forums. It hasn't come together as yet, and if pressed, to refer those calls to me, because the last thing we want is for COLA to be delivering one message and for me to be delivering another one up here. So just for this period, while those things can be informed, I've asked COLA to refer them back to me.
Or worst case scenario, a source contacting different members and comparing answers, responses.
I don't know that, that definitely is the worst case. I don't know that we can kind of corral all of the calls that come in. I think really having Lewis be kind of, the executive director is for a reason. And having COLA on the ground in Rochester is for a reason. I don't think everything that happens in Rochester needs to be vetted through us, because I would be like COLA in some of those situations. I don't know. And so I don't think it's fair just because we're the council that we would have our opinion in everything, unless we're down there in that community. I think we do more harm by sitting back here in the ivory tower with a comment. So I think you and COLA are really the gatekeepers. I really do. I think. Yes.
Hello.
We're here.
So.
Wait a minute. I'm not done talking yet. I'm sorry. I'm not. Representative. We can, but it's not your turn yet. I was in the middle of a statement, so you gotta let us know when you want to speak. But I think it's gonna be challenging because.
I'm gonna speak when you get through.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. But I think you two have to be the gatekeepers. You two have to be in communication so that we don't look up and they, circumvented our system or our structure, and comments are coming from here, there, and everywhere. So I think you two really have to work closely. I believe that was what the comment I was trying to get across. Representative Moran, you wanted to add something?
Yeah, I want to make a statement.
Okay.
So I want to first say that I agree with you.
Thank you.
We have hired Dr. Lewis Porter, to do a job out in the community. And COLA, who is representing the council in Rochester, I think is doing an awesome job. And what I hear from the community out there, they are strongly advocating for her, they're supporting her.
Great.
And what I hear is that they need her. And so to have to come back to the council to get approval for the work that needs to be done, I don't really know if that is the work of the council, of the board members. Not that we can't share our thoughts and opinions about it, but the work, I believe, really needs to come from exactly what they're doing out there. And it's more of a report in to us, the impact and that they're having out in the community. Or if there's some difficulties that we can, that they can take to the board. But we did hire Dr. Porter for a reason. So I think we should allow him to do the work that needs to be done back out in the community with the people.
Thank you. And we did hire COLA, although we didn't hire COLA. You were here, but you were hired for a reason.
You did hire me.
Thank you, Representative Moran. That was a great way to kind of bring us back to what our real purpose and our work is.
So I also do have a local advisory board.
Okay, we need to learn more about that.
Right. So the board was there before I started, but basically they gave me support on like if they will have like an annual event, like we started the phases of diversity in our midst the first year when I started. So the local advisory board said, this is what we want to do to recognize our black executives in Southeast Minnesota. So we did it the first time, and then last year, last year, October, I think it was October 1st, we did it again to recognize the executives. But we invite the community because I think it's also a way for us to create visibility.
Absolutely.
And then we also, my first year, went to work with the Olmsted County Historic Society.
Okay.
And now, Historical Society. And now we do have a display of African history in Olmsted County, the very first one ever. When the center opens. So
Cole, I just have a question for you. I don't know the makeup of your advisory board, but given our name is, Minnesotans of African heritage, it's important that it's inclusive of not only, residents who consider themselves black, but also residents who consider themselves Ethiopian, Somali, and
so the board, Donovan Bailey started it. It has Sis Jackie, Miss Mees, Sandra Mees, she's a councilwoman.
It doesn't mean anything to me what you're saying, but I just wanted to put that back to you to say, is it reflective of the new name? To make sure that it's inclusive. That's all.
Okay, let me just put it another way.
Okay, how about this? You don't have to say it. If it is not,
it's diverse. It's diverse. But I do have one Ethiopian on there and one Somali. I don't have a Sudanese.
So you're going to work on that.
And I'm working on this one. Well, couple of people, because I know a lot of Sudanese in Rochester. I do have Sudanese leaders that I work with in Austin. I'm working with a Somali organization in Faribault and in Owatonna and in Albert Lee. I really haven't touched ground hard yet in Albert Lee. I am working with the police department there though to create that opportunity, because what the city council is doing in Albert Lee right now is to not have city council meeting at City Hall, but to have it in the like the shopping malls and stuff like that around.
Be in the community.
Right, so the community can come to them.
Right.
So they kind of engage and stuff like that. So I'm just really just kind of on the sideline watching how that works for them. They do let me know if they need my help. I've had a couple of meetings in Winona, and I'm working with Winona State University to create.
Excuse me, Representative Moran.
Sorry.
We're going to put you on mute in a minute here.
So I think all of those things, I mean.
Okay, thank you.
Southeast Minnesota is huge, but as the needs come, all community members know how to reach out to me and stuff like that. So
that's most important. But I just want to let you know that our expectation is that as you look around your advisory group, while somebody else may have formed it, but you're sitting at the table in a leadership role.
Absolutely.
We want it to be reflective of our name and the communities that we serve.
Absolutely.
I just want to just caveat that to say that having like one of each group is not, like, we just gotta make sure like we think about how we think about diversity, because it's not fair to be having one person from the Somalian community and them feeling like they need to represent the entire Somali. That's So I just want to say, like, if you find someone who's Somali or you find someone who's Sudanese, that's great, but it's not. I don't think that should be how we think about diversity and being inclusive. That's just only.
Well, that's just one point of it, Miss Olivia. I just would like to challenge you a little bit on that to say that's the easy step of it. Then we get into the complex part of it. But if it doesn't look like a duck when I walk in, I'm not thinking it can swim. So that's all I'm saying. I think it can be broader, definitely, but I want to, I guess it's my own bias. Once I looked at the name that the new council was, I felt like it should be reflective of that.
Right.
Anytime you see CMAH, thank you. I wanted to be that.
So I think the Council for Minnesotans of African Heritage, and when we meet with community leaders and ask them to be more inclusive, we ourselves need to practice what we preach.
Exactly.
And so I'm very, very conscious of that and make an effort to be able to be inclusive. However, we have to keep in mind, because I'm a black person does not make me understand every black issue.
Well, that's why you need other people
Right,
to call
so-
at that table, exactly, but I think the title was changed for a reason.
Absolutely.
And so, I just want to be respectful
Oh,
of
yeah,
that, and
yeah.
to say to you, please, continue to add and open that tent so that
Yes.
other people can sit at the table and be a part of the discussion.
Absolutely.
There's more than enough work to go around.
Yeah? Yeah. So-
Okay, you breathing heavily because you want to add something, Dan, or you just a time, this
I'm
is
just
part of
an
the
old guy.
discussion? So what do you want to say?
You know, I
I
sometime
can tell, I knew you wanted to say something.
At some time I was gonna jump in here and I thought maybe afterwards, but, I think, and I think both of you kind of said it pretty well on that issue. But I think we always wanna go back to, the statute and say, are we reflective of statute? Because in, not this year, but probably next year, we're gonna be looked at again, and they're gonna come to say, okay, there's a lot of things you did, but did you do what we asked you to do?
Yeah.
And I see advise, the governor said, and legislature advise, recommend, serve as a liaison, perform some duties, and implement programs designed to solve problems. But that's, again, under doing studies. And so I just want to be careful we don't get too far off here, because if we do, the legislature will shut us down.
Yeah.
Because
So,
that's where they were last time, was threatening, really close to do that. They said, we're going to give you another chance.
so along that line, collecting data and analyzing and making recommendations and stuff like that, during the summer, we did do the survey, the community need assessment survey, from which I think there were like 5 things that came to the top: police community relations, human rights, education was number 4, and jobs and economic development. And
Housing.
I think it was housing, and then the funding the council was like the last thing.
Oh, yes.
And so in Rochester, I think I sent that report to Dr. Porter when he started. So we had like a town hall kind of style meeting to say, okay, these are the things that you said we should work on. Can you tell me, give me some solutions that may work that we can go back to the legislature where he has that report. So when we're ready to make our legislative recommendations, that information is available for him.
Great. Well, that's coming very soon, by the way. So, thank you so much for sharing what's happening in Rochester, and we are going to come back to some decisions as we move through the agenda. Thank you for always reminding us of why we are here. And that being said, should we move to the next item on your report, please?
Sure. Okay. Police Community Relations Forum on this coming Saturday. Things are falling into place, and our moderator's been working, and tomorrow the moderator and Cole and I are going to do a phone conference, and we're making all the arrangements. What I need is some people power. We need people to help set up, to get the light breakfast on the tables, to be runners, and just to sort of get things going. We have some of the sheets to stick on the page and that sort of thing. But so we need board members who can be there a little bit early. It starts at 8:30 with breakfast.
So how early are you thinking, 7:30? How early
Yes.
they open the building? Will they open it at 7:30 for you?
I've got to confirm that from, I just got the contract today, but I'm going to confirm that, and if they'll open at 7:30, that's when I want to get there.
Okay.
What's your location again?
It is at the Heritage Park Senior Services Center. In fact, there's a flyers right there.
The YMCA is in the building. It's a Thomas Feeney resident facility. It's a Minneapolis public housing building, but quite a few partners are in that building. And
1015 North 4th.
yeah, it's right across the street. You know, International Market Square is right behind there.
Okay.
Yeah.
They have parking in the back. They have parking on the street, and so we are hoping to have everybody there.
And it's new and it's beautiful.
It is beautiful.
The contract I got today said no more than 150 people. So
Right.
I don't think that's going to be a problem for us. But I have been putting up these flyers in the University of Dale area as well as in North Minneapolis. So if we can just get some people power on that. The other thing, I guess the one we have, we wanted to have a diversity of voices at the table, young, old, and you name it. And I feel like we're getting that. Where we're falling short is in police voices, because some police are out of town. I get a sense that some are reluctant to come, but we have some police voices and some of the officials. But we have a lot of folks from the community from every level. We have the most conservative group saying they're coming, and young folks saying they're coming. And Vivian is very good at corralling and managing those disparate ideas and all. So I think that's going to be a good one on Saturday.
I will help you connect with some of the police in the fourth precinct. We have a great relationship with one amazing police officer. She is she does community police, so she's really out there. And then there was an article, was it just this week, on the new chief there. So he's not the chief.
You the inspector?
Yes, the inspector. Thank you. And he is usually pretty open. I don't know if he'll be available this Saturday. What's going on?
I know Chief Harcher was out of town.
Yes. Yeah, we probably will be hit or miss in who can get, but I will give you those names and work out and connect with you.
Okay.
I'll be there.
Thank you. The legislative goal planning session starts February 27th, and thanks to Doris, we have the Midway Y. Beautiful new space. It's really nice, old floors and everything.
You guys know where that is, right?
Yeah, that's, off the university.
Right on the university.
Near the university, near the Minneapolis-St. Paul border, which I think is a good thing. And so our goal there is to take those things that Cola mentioned that came out of the report and really work to see, okay, well, how do we put legs on this? How do we make recommendations? Is there some of the things that I've been hearing lately from the state NAACP is that some of the things that we were working on last year, they don't want to see all those go away. So they're going to meet with me on Monday. They're very interested in us holding on to some of the things from last year. And so how do we blend the things from last year with the survey results and get those into recommendations?
What time is that again?
That one is from 1 to 5. We want to have 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon. That's 1 to 5.
1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon, right?
No. I'm sorry. The one in the morning is the police community one, which is this Saturday. That's the morning one.
Okay, if we were saying 1 a.m., I would be like, good luck.
Forget it.
I'm not coming.
Oh, gosh. No one is any good at
No, that won't be us.
Except for me. I'm a night
Yeah, good for you.
Good for you.
Under you.
No, the one this Saturday is 8:30 to noon.
And the 27th?
No, this Saturday, and the 27th is 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. And we purposely planned them so that one would be in the morning and one would be in the afternoon, and that we would not have to serve a meal at the time, because the state frowns on that.
Yeah. Plus, you also were very purposeful in that one is in Minneapolis and one is in St. Paul.
Correct.
And the one on the 27th works out that you and I know are in that training that we, and you too. There'll be 3 of us. We're in training down here that morning, and then we'll just.
What training?
But it's here, right? Training's
Yeah,
here.
it's wasn't.
Oh, okay.
It's in this vicinity.
I'll be there.
Exactly where it is. I think I have it with me. But we'll be in training that morning, and then we'll just have lunch, and then we'll tool on down the road. So we 3 will be there, but we may be a little late, so we might not be a part of your setup team.
Okay.
Because we'll be coming out of our training.
You'll be doing council business, so you're excused.
But we will be there before it starts.
I will join you from the training to the AD chair.
Who is that? Is that nice Subu?
That's the date.
Sadiq. Oh, I couldn't tell. You guys heard him say it?
Yeah.
I apologize, Madam Chair, that I couldn't come there physically tonight.
Oh, okay. We're glad to hear you're here.
Madam Chair, I'm here too.
Who is that?
Fatima.
When did you come on the line?
Yes, I am.
Oh, thank you. We're glad you're here. Okay, Troop, so we're going to keep right on rolling. We can't hear you because there's too much background noise. Turn your TV off. Representative Moran, we can't hear you. Oh, it's not you. I'm sorry. Whoever that is, mute the sound so we can hear.
Okay, can I speak now?
Please. Wait a minute, they started up again. Hold it, Representative Moran. I'm sorry.
Okay. So you have...
It sounds like this. Dr. Lawson, is that you?
Yes, that's me.
Okay, I think you got some background background noise where you are. Can you mute your sound?
Okay.
Thank you. Perfect. Representative Moran, we can hear you now. Please speak.
Okay, so I wanted to suggest to Dr. Porter, well, for the committee, I believe I heard you say that you have not enough law enforcement officers attending.
That have registered at this time, yes.
Okay, I would, maybe suggest that have you invited Chief John Harrington?
He is going to be out of town. I did speak with him yesterday. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay, how about Tom Smith? I think he was going to come over to Minneapolis.
He hasn't gotten back to us, but the I can't think of his name. The president of the Black Police Officers Association is going to be there. Tom Smith hasn't gotten back to us, those are the ones that come to mind right now. We have some retired officers who are going to be there as well.
Oh, good.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay, maybe something today. Okay. And so also, as you begin to organize and get to know community members, I think a lot of community members are really, ready to connect with the council and the council work. So for many of the board members who are going to be attending a training the day of the meeting in St. Paul and others who may, not be available to come set up, I would kind of suggest that you do a call out for volunteers to come and help us support this setup.
Sure.
Great idea.
Volunteer for the day, if you have not already done that.
That's a great idea.
We could ask for some at the meeting this Saturday, for those who might want to come to the meeting and ask if some of them can help us out. That's a great idea. Thank you, Representative Moran.
All right, that's it for me.
Okay, well, we're going to roll right along with that great idea.
Okay.
Louis, do you want to stop, excuse me, Dr. Porter, do you want to stop there? I talk to you far too often on the phone. I apologize for the informality if it's uncomfortable.
That's okay.
But do you want to stop there and let me bring in maybe a couple of these points, because I think they're going to tie into your sharing of the Twin Cities Leadership Committee?
That's fine.
Because one of the things that I have under the chair's report is that you had a lot of things going on ever since you've arrived. And I think it's unfair to expect you to keep that energy level up and cover all these things and be able to work not only here in St. Paul and Minneapolis metro area, but to have a real sense of what's happening all over the state. And we are needed to be in the community. I think the structure that the board has, and I love what Representative Moran said, right on, in case, some of us are in training, some are out of town, some have their other jobs that they're doing. It's important that we set up some committees so that we can be helpful and resources to you.
I appreciate that.
And I think Cola touched it earlier when we talked about, how can we help, we don't want to come down to Rochester and do your job by any means, but how can we be more helpful? And I think you said having a presence. And so I want to encourage the council to look at forming committees where we can do more than come to meet once a month. I believe very strongly, because we are a state agency or an organization that has to have everything published and out there so that the public knows what's going on, we kind of create more work for ourselves by meeting so frequently. It gives you only 3 weeks to do anything, because you got to round up real quickly and get back and get information out and come back. And I think with technology and also with the fact that not everybody on this council is active, and that's something I also want to talk about with the governor's office. We're going to identify those people who have not shown up to any of the meetings since us new people have come on. And there are some great people who are going to be going off. So we're going to find ourselves in a very limited situation. So I think by forming committees to work on various areas of the work that we need to do that you so beautifully outlined will help us assure our success. So the first thing I want to offer is in the community. I think we need to think very seriously about moving our schedule to every other month as a joint meeting here. I think we also need to look at how we can have meetings in the community, have a meeting in Rochester, have a meeting in St. Cloud, have a meeting in Mankato. Those are the places that we talked about. There are issues going on, but we don't have the resources to set a full-time staff person there, an office, and all those things. And so to me, in the committee is having a presence in places where we are needed. But I believe we as a council need to find 3 people in our team here who are passionate about this and who could coordinate that so that it doesn't fall only to you and COLA. So that's the first committee I'd like to suggest that we create, an in the community committee. Now, it looks like that leads right into your sharing of Twin Cities Leadership Committee.
Yes.
Exactly. So I want to work with you. We work in tandem so that we don't duplicate effort here.
Okay, great. Well, Steve Belton of the Executive University Urban League is really pushing and also trying to bring various black communities together. So he contacted me and Knock and a couple of other people and Al Flowers and some other folks, and we met and said, how can we pull our forces together to get a more unified black legislative agenda? And he's very much looking at, the whole group was looking at the amount of money that's at stake, this time, and the amount of attention that a lot of black issues are receiving around this time. And he talked about it being a moment that we need to capture. So we then met with about 16 or 18 community leaders, and we started putting things into buckets and looking at how we can work together and have a unified list of requests and funding and legislation. So that's a good thing that happened, and so I'm excited about that.
Very good thing that happened. Okay, so if you don't mind, I'd like to, I wanted everyone to hear kind of what's happening and the pulls on your time. But they're really good pulls because they're strategic, where we're going to work together.
Yes.
I would like to be a part of this committee up in the community where we look at our schedules and we plan to have a presence more than here. And I'm wondering, are there 2 other people at the table who would like to be a part of that so we can set up that information and support Lewis and Cola in coordinating that and then getting the information out to our board? Is there anyone else who would like to be a part of it?
Just one question. Are there any other committees that you are thinking of first? Because I think it's nice to lay them all out so then people could.
That's well,
just so that they can.
I've got 3 here.
The best. Okay.
Yeah, those 3 bullets are each a different committee.
Oh, for these here?
Go up to mine, the executive. You were looking at
Oh,
go up to
okay.
mine. I only have
In the
3
commu-
bullets.
So yours are.
The first one's in the community.
New location.
The second one is new location for this office, as well as for our board meetings. They don't both have to be the same. And the third is branding partnerships. There are a couple of events and things that you've talked about, that we talked about in this before you even came on board, to say how do we make sure that people know we have a new executive director? How do they get to meet our executive director? The 2 meetings, work meetings that you call together are ways that they're going to get a chance to see you in action, to see you working. But we also want to do something as a, I think someone said it was kind of a reception, where people, it's informal, where people get to talk to you and, interact with you and others on the council without it being so structured. Because that's, like the police are bringing their meetings out, that's where you really will find out what's on your minds. So there was an event that Freddie Bell, KMOJ, talked about that they're planning to do in St. Paul, and I thought maybe it might be a good partnership for us. So those are the 3 committees that I put down as ways to distribute some of this work so that we don't get caught up in feeling like this is all we have to do.
Can you run your location?
I'm sorry, maybe I wasn't clear. There is no new location. These are committees that are going to work on that and bring the information back to us.
No, that's fine. I just wanted to know. So, just to be clear, so what that means is that this committee is supposed to do research on how we could establish a really good office in Rochester, correct? Or where is that going?
Community engagement, basically. That's where you're going, right?
Yes, but I want logistics.
Right.
Yes. I don't excuse me. I don't know that I'm understanding why why it's not clear, so I'm gonna be quiet and let somebody else maybe try to explain what I'm trying to say.
So let me try. And I'm
gonna stop you if you're not getting it, okay?
Good. Okay, so in the community, for example, you're looking for people to say, okay, we will work with, we'll try to connect with communities throughout the state.
Right.
Right? Okay, so then my question for you is, are you open to having somebody on the local advisory board in Rochester to be on that committee, even though they are not board members?
No.
Okay.
No. Very good. First part was right.
Right.
Second part, no.
Okay.
I'm looking for someone in this room tonight.
Okay.
We only want 3 people on each committee.
All right.
I'm looking for I'm one of the people who's going to be on that committee
In
for
the
sure.
committee, okay.
And that committee is going to set up our meeting schedule. And our meetings are going to be in the community.
In the community.
We're trying to get away from just showing up here.
Right. Okay.
And that's why it's called in the community.
Okay.
I would join that one.
Okay.
I just needed to get a little more clear.
Well, I'm glad. I love you to ask the question down
Right.
rather than walk away thinking you got it and you go out and say something and it's not true. So this is a work group. You know, I hope that's okay with you guys. I'm not a very formal person. I'm a very direct person.
Right.
So let's just be clear what we're talking about. Louis, you and I talked. Would that be helpful to you?
That would be very helpful.
I thought so.
So can I
I
make
would like to
a,
be on the committee that is in the community engagement, or whatever you guys call it.
You gonna be on that committee too, Representative Moran? Is that you? Okay, so we've got the 3 people for that committee. Okay, the second committee is the committee that's going to do some research on moving this office into the community and also saying where would be a good place for our board meetings. Now, mind you, it may just work out that our board meetings could be in our office, but I think we're open. But that committee is our research committee. They're kind of like our, what do they call those people? Advanced team. They're going to go out and find the space. Now, there's a couple parameters. We want to remain in St. Paul because we want to be able to get to our legislatures that as quickly as possible if there's something happening on the Capitol that we need to be a part of. We want to be somewhere, excuse me, where there's adequate parking, so people from the community can drive in and park. So I'd like a surface parking lot. These are things like buying a house. I may not be able to get them all. But I want to get us in the community, and I want the community to know who we are, and I want the community to feel that they are involved in bringing ideas and solutions to us, too. So that's the second committee.
so along that line, you might want to, because there was talk last session about having the 3 ethnic councils co-locate in the same area. So we have the same receptionist or whatever. There was never a bill that came forward, but this was some kind of communication that was going on. And I think Representative Phyllis Khan.
I know Phyllis very well.
Yeah.
I'll follow up with her and ask her
So-
about it. But I still want, I'm gonna be on it, but there's
Right.
2 other people who wanna be on it.
Yeah. So, yeah, like the office location thing and stuff like that, you know?
I got you,
I think-
hold up,
yeah.
I understand, thank
So-
you. So are there 2 other people in this group who wanna be on this committee, or is there one other person who wants to be on it? Because I don't want you guys to feel like I'm dry, you wanna be on it?
Hold on. For the point of, hold on.
You know, I
Yes,
just want a name here, go ahead,
I
I'm
know,
sorry.
just for the point of clarification.
But I'll follow up with Representative Khan, thank you.
Yeah.
So how often do we meet in?
The In the Community group is gonna tell you that. At this point, you will be meeting next month, but after this committee gets together, they're gonna come back with that information.
Okay.
I feel it's imperative that we release these wonderful souls to do the work,
Right.
and that we adjust to the change and use technology, and we take our very valuable time and get out into the community. 'Cause that's the only way we're really gonna be effective.
I totally agree with you. I am excited about moving back into the community and engaging the community, listening to the community, and create opportunity for community to be a part of the board meeting.
Thank you.
I will be on it.
Yes. That's the location committee, because the first committee is
Yeah.
already filled, so you're on the
Yeah,
location. Okay, thank you, I got
Yeah.
you.
Just doing the research on location.
Excellent. Well, so 2 is you and me. We're
Okay.
going to the 3rd bullet. This is the last committee that I, excuse me, am asking for your participation on. And this is the branding partnership. I've seen emails go back and forth about people not comfortable with what's on our website. I've heard from a number of people, look, we're doing this, well, you know, what's the council doing? I've heard from the Urban League, I've heard from AALF, I think, what do they call themselves? I know it's African American
African
Leadership
Leadership
Forum.
Forum,
Do they
yes,
have like a little
Jefferson.
clever name that they
Alpha,
have?
I think they call
Alpha,
themselves,
thank you. I always think of that little animal that used to be on TV named Alpha. So I
Me
never
too.
didn't say that when I always say AALF. But I've heard from all these people, and so what happens is, everything looks like it's great, but we only have 2 full-time people here. We cannot possibly expect them to do it all. And maybe some branding, this fits right into, Suzanne, what you were saying, of that everybody's speaking for the council. Okay, if we get a committee that's clear about our branding, we'll make sure that our information reflects that, but I think it also will give other people a sense of what we are interested in, what we are about, and what we're called to do. So who would like to be a part of that? And the first thing we're going to do is address that tagline that so many of you are not happy with. And so who would like to be on the branding committee? Because I put branding partnership because I should have put, I should have put branding and partnership. But the branding part has to be clear first, because you got to know what you're about before you know who you're going to partner with.
Exactly.
So I'm going to be on it. Who else would like to be on it? Oh my gosh, I got all 3. Oh, sorry. I didn't want to miss you guys, but I realized that I wasn't talking to you. So I've got 3. Did you want to be? We can take a 4th if you want to be on it. You want to be on it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We are set.
You are educated.
Yeah.
You go ahead.
And watch until the session's over.
Yeah.
That's such a good idea. Just to give them opportunity.
You know, we don't, I think what we'll do is we'll include it in your minutes. We'll part it as a part of the minutes when we send it out. We don't need to meet about it. Okay. This was a side note.
Sorry, that's one good idea.
In case you weren't able to interject because we were kind of rolling with it and I was looking at people as opposed to offering it to those of the council members who are on the phone, you will have a chance to indicate which of these committees you would like to be a part of too. Representative Moran, I've already got you down, but just in case Dr. Larson and Sadiq wanted to be on a committee, I want to make sure I don't overlook you. So thank Olivia for that. I'm like a bull in the china shop. I get an idea and I'm driving it home tonight because I don't want you to be here any later than 8 o'clock. Okay, so, I'm sorry, Suzanne, so let me just, I'll make sure Olivia got those 4.
Yes, I got it.
Okay, yes, cool, yes, okay.
So I have a question, which is March 20th? you have
Yes, let's
here?
change that to the 24th. That's something that came to me. There is a wonderful restaurant or wonderful place, I think it's called Arnella's,
Oh, yeah.
and it's in St. Paul,
yes.
and a lot of folk know it.
Yes.
And they are one of the few black-owned businesses in our metro area. And they were looking to do something in the evening, and they spoke with someone who was talking to me about the council, because I had said we wanted to do a reception for our new executive director. And they said, well, you know, they're planning something. I said, well, you know, he's very busy in February, but people will get a chance to see him at work, and then it would be nice for them to be able to come and talk to him informally to see who he is and invite his family, invite our families. We come and it's a little social gathering, and that would be on March 24th
At Arnella's.
at Arnella's.
Okay.
I need help. Dr.
I
Benjamin,
know it doesn't spell, it's not spelled the way it looks.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
It's clever, but we'll get it spelled correctly. Okay.
I'm sorry.
And so that's a right down the street, in the neighborhood kind of thing. This is going to be important because those people who maybe didn't want to come to the workshops that we were having because they were busy or something else, I don't want them to think they don't get a chance to show up and talk to us without a preset agenda. So they can come and interact with us, and that's when you're really going to find out what's going on in the community.
Informally.
Informally.
Mhm.
Oh, I don't know those details. I just wanted to get that date on your calendar. Okay. And I kind of did speak out of my title, saying I'll bring it to the council, and I knew we were looking to do a social thing for you, so I thought that could work. But if the branding committee decides they don't like it, we can look at other things as well.
Just a question, is that place in St. Paul?
It's in St. Paul.
Okay, that is something.
Absolutely, it's in St. Paul. Thank you so much. Needless to say, I've been thinking of this a lot as we talked so much in January, and then, you know, I just thought, here, I'm one person, getting the call, what it must be like for you in this office to get the calls, follow up with everybody coming into the office or calling you, and I just think it's important that we step up and give you the support you need so that you can continue to do good work in our community.
I appreciate that. Did you want me to attend these committee meetings or?
Absolutely, if
Okay.
you want to. You'll get minutes from them.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to meet whether you are available or not, but
Okay.
you are, Cola, both are totally welcome to them. We're here to help you in your job, but we're not here to do your job. But we are, I believe very strongly in removing obstacles and barriers that prevent you from being successful.
I appreciate that.
So, thank you guys for being so tolerant and letting me drive home and got my committees now. Yes.
Do those
So
meetings,
Madam Chair.
Just a second, Senator Dan is going to speak, Dan Hall.
do those meetings have to
Okay.
be, are they public meetings? And do we have to announce those meetings?
Because they're committees, do they have to be?
That's what I'm asking.
I was hoping not. Representative Moran, do you know, because they're subcommittees, do they have to be public?
I think so.
Yes, I think so.
Oh, gosh, that's going to take up so
I
much more time.
believe so.
How can we do it?
So-
Oh,
And we need
That's
to
not
put
the
like a
worst, that's not the worst thing in the world, really.
No.
well,
Give them the community to have that input into that process.
but here's my concern, just like, well, how much is necessary? Because what we're trying to do is get the decisions made, then put the information out. And I know that sounds really controlling, but what I'm worried about is how much do you have to open it up before you can make a decision? You know, like now we have to send our minutes out, how many days in advance for this meeting?
The agenda?
We have to do all that. Is it gonna necessitate that kind of paperwork?
I think if you just put the meeting dates on the website where the people can see it.
Notifications.
Okay,
The part is like, it's about the process.
okay.
The whole committee meeting, the board members in there to listen. You
Mhm.
know, if you can decide whether or not you want to get input into the process or not, I mean, you know, so it's about the process, and you control that process.
Okay, because I want to be inclusive, but I also don't want to take on a whole new administrative effort. I'm sorry, I spoke when you spoke. I thought you were done. I'm going to be quiet. Why don't you continue what you were saying?
That Representative, Senator Hall or me?
You.
Or me?
Yeah.
Okay. So one of the things that I wanted to think about, you know, and we don't have to talk about it today, but I just want to put this out there, that the challenges that are, the challenges of the Black heritage community is great. You know, this is not just a Twin City issue, it's a statewide issue. The Black family and disparities and racism and all that, it's huge in our state. And I just wanted to think about it because we have 2 staff members there. And I think we're really underserving ourselves when we just commit to one person in Rochester and, you know, Dr. Porter. And I know we talk about a part-time person, but he needs someone to do research, he needs someone to do some community outreach, he needs someone to answer phones. And we need to decide how we're going to prioritize the dollars that we have to have the best impact that we can.
Well, now, I should say here that,
Say that and put that out there.
Excellent. I think he has a response to you.
I'm very happy to, I should have said this sooner, but I'm very happy to report that a half-time administrative assistant starts tomorrow. Tanika McAdoo will be working 20 hours a week. So I'm very excited about
My
that.
thing is, why does she have to be part-time? People are going to call, especially with the economic disparity conversations going to go on this session, people are going to be calling, why is she only there part-time?
I think we were looking at a budgetary type thing, but if we are able
We need
to,
set a budget.
if we're able to
Wait. It's really challenging.
How we're going to best support the Black community.
Representative Moran, I think he was trying to respond to you. It's kind of challenging because you have so many wonderful thoughts, and it's great to have the dialogue, but it's difficult if he can't speak back to you. So I think he's sharing with you why.
I heard him.
Well, yeah, but okay. I feel like a police traffic cop. Okay, we're gonna move along.
But I would say those are the boundaries that we put on there as board members.
Well, we do have
We need to look at the budget again.
excuse me, we do have a limited budget, and, you know, you gotta remember that you're in transition. So I think starting out part-time, and then as Lewis and Cola work with this individual, if they find they need more time, or maybe we need to bring in an intern. I mean, we've talked about some of these things, but this is a great first step, because now we got that. But you keep pushing us, keep challenging. Okay, thank you. Dr. Benjamin, did you have your hand up? You were doing something. I thought you wanted to say something.
Can we vote on an additional staff member?
I don't think we know enough to do that just yet.
Okay.
I think we really need to look at those dollars and make sure that we can cover it, because it's not just the salary. We also got to look at the benefits, and then we got to look at what we're going to get next year. And so I think it would be prudent to look at our dollars and then make that call.
Can we put that out there to have the dollar information for the next meeting?
Absolutely. Now that we can do.
I think the best thing for us is to just look at the alternative options, because there are a lot of resources outside there. We can really collaborate with colleges and universities and find a lot of interns from the university and colleges.
We are looking at, there's several internship programs we're
Yes,
looking at.
yes,
I know
yes.
we're looking at those as
I
well.
know a great program at the University of Minnesota, the Department of African American African Studies. So they truly, try to change the program in a way that they connect themselves to the community. So I would really love to connect you to the share. Yep. Yeah.
Excellent.
And I did want to say that the plan that I was
Just
given, the plan that I was given when I came into this position said that there was room for an administrative assistant and also another community specialist who would the presumption would be out of this office.
Well, I think something changed, because the numbers I was looking at, and I don't know that that is
Okay.
Feasible.
I do think that we need to go back and revisit that. And we had previous conversations about alternative methods of using interns, et cetera, that we have not investigated yet. So I think there's a couple of steps before, even checking the budget again. Let's see. There are some alternatives.
I think the interns is a very great idea. We actually did work with a couple of interns last session and even after the session, but the only problem is those interns are not here to hold down the fort. So when they come in and then you spend time to train them on what the council is about and what you want them to do, and then when they leave, it's almost like the deja vu is all over. So,
well, we're going to have to be, realistic about what can they accomplish in the time that they are going to be with us. Maybe it's just research.
Yeah.
And you just take that information and use it, but
it's good, like when they come, when we're doing the survey and you just give them the survey because it's that length of time.
Yes.
But then the work really is still here. It doesn't go away.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
Very fair.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to move along, and so thank you so much. That was the chair's report. One just piece of housekeeping, and I'm only going to say it now before I forget. With our per diem, there's been a request that we do direct deposit for that so that they don't have to issue checks. Oh my goodness. Okay, we're going to talk about that offline. Okay. Okie dokie. Maybe I need to I'll send some information out, because all of you are looking at me a little baffled. I thought it was just a reminder, but clearly I need to do a better job of setting that up. My apology. Let's go back and finish our business, and then we can do the other things offline. Picking up from your next bullet, since mine are all done.
Okay, thank you, Madam Chair. There's some more copies of the Spokesman Recorder article that covered me becoming the ED, so I brought a stack of those. We're going to have, and we're going to send you electronically, the interview on Freddie Bell's morning show, KMOJ, and we'll get that to you. MinPost has interviewed me, and that story's kind of put on hold because the reporter is due to the staff. He's got a project he has to knock off first. He assures me he'll give me a heads up when it's going to run the MinPost. And then our own contractor who does a lot of our PR as well as our technical stuff, Don Allen, has a podcast he's inviting me to be on tomorrow night.
All right.
So we're getting out there.
Good.
Did we want to? I only saw one person respond back with a recommendation for the rebranding. Do you want to talk about that, or do you want to put that in the committee?
I think that should go into the committee.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
That's the whole point of having the committee.
Great.
You're gonna love this committee stuff.
Oh, I'm psyched, I'm psyched. And then don't laugh at me for this last one, but this one is a fun thing that I'd like to propose for us to do. At the History Theater, there's a play on George Bunga, and I had this vision, if you get 10 tickets, it's cheaper. So I had this vision that the board and the staff and families could go, and maybe before we went to this theater, it's for Black History Month, and it's about the first black business person in Minnesota. And before we went to see this play, we could maybe meet here and have a potluck to save money, and then go to the play.
Wonderful.
It's an idea I'm throwing out there.
Okay, what date are you looking at, the 28th?
Well, it's showing until, what's the range? It's showing till?
The 7th?
The entire month.
Yes.
Well, the 6th is all gone, so I'm
Yeah.
looking, picking up at the 14th, 21st, and 28th. Those are your dates.
Those are the Saturday nights you're looking
Yeah,
at?
and you can forget the 14th. That's a Sunday, isn't it?
Yep.
That's Valentine's Day.
That's Valentine's Day.
Oh,
Forget
okay.
that. That's not going to happen.
Okay,
The 21st is possible. The 28th is for sure.
okay.
And that's after our big community meeting.
Well, I might be kind of tired, especially
I
those-
would think that of seeing each other and being together could
So
possibly.
maybe the 21st?
And the 21st, I think we should go, but I don't think I'll be able to make it. I have-
But does it have to be a Saturday night?
I'm just looking at this.
Oh, okay.
Am I missing something? I'm just looking at this.
There's
It says opening
These are
night,
all
post-show
Sundays.
reception, February 6th, and then they give the dates down here.
Oh, okay.
They are all
Oh,
Sundays.
okay. So those must be the dates for the talk show. Oh, a lively post-show talk after every Sunday matinee.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess I was focused there because you said family.
Oh, okay.
And children, you typically, if you want to bring family, it's got to be matinee. You don't want to take kids out of, you don't keep them out. of the day.
Oh, okay.
You know, school teacher thinking here.
Well, family or significant other, just.
Well, no, I thought it was lovely to be inclusive. I didn't have an issue with it. But I'm just saying to you, your dates are somewhat limited. That's all I was trying
Okay,
to say.
and it's just an idea I throw out there. If a date works, if you all like the idea, that's fine. If not,
Okay.
it's okay.
I have
Yes.
a suggestion. Would you, like me to set up a doodle poem?
Oh, that would be
Keep dates
great.
in there, and then folks can decide whichever is the most.
Which one
Good
was the
idea.
best? That's very efficient. Thank you.
Very efficient, but please remember, children have school, and so Thursdays are not good.
Well, and for whatever it's worth, Carlisle Brown has another play out on March 10th and 26th
Okay.
that might fit. It's called Acting Black.
All right.
Is it the same place or something?
Let me check here.
This is kind of cool, to get this information. You're gonna have two things to do, because then you can get a
At
sense
Dreamland Arts, 677 Hamlin Avenue, St. Paul.
Benjamin, can you send that to
I can,
Olivia?
yeah.
Because then she'll be able to put it up, and then you can see what people are more interested in
Sure,
seeing.
sure.
Outings, maybe
Yeah,
a group
yeah.
goes to this one, and another group goes to that one. But I think it's great to do something together outside of the meeting.
I need your
Would it
email,
possible?
Olivia. I think I got it in here. Yeah, okay.
Dr. Porter, is that it for your meeting? I mean, your,
Oh, the other thing that I did want to say is that I would like this meeting, there's a meeting on the 15th, Monday, with the state leaders of the NAACP and Mr. Name just escapes me.
W.C. Jordan.
W.C. Jordan will be bringing together some of the local and state leaders just to talk about the upcoming legislative agenda and ways we can work together. I would like it if a member of the board or two could join me for that meeting on Monday.
What time?
15, 11 in the morning
at what place?
here.
Oh, okay. Here?
Yes.
I will put it on my calendar too. I can actually do it.
Yeah, I'll put on my calendar and say maybe.
And then you can follow up with me.
Yeah.
What time?
11 in the morning on the 15th.
Okay, great. Are you done?
I'm finished, thank
Okay.
you.
Are there, yes, Suzanne?
On the agenda, we have community comments. They're just before new and old business. I thought we were gonna move that up.
If somebody's here.
Oh,
There's no need to move it up if they're not here.
okay.
But if we, and I think we can have that kind of flexibility because we can adjust it. But if somebody's
Okay.
here waiting to comment, to share with us, we definitely don't want them to sit through the whole meeting.
Okay.
Right. And is there any new business? I have some, but I'm gonna send it out to you guys, so you have, the direct deposit thing, I'm gonna send it out to you before I try to talk about it, since you didn't know what I was talking about. So that would be the new, and any old business that we need to cover. Excellent, we are adjourned. Thank you so much.
You have your per diem forms and I have your parking passes.
Excellent.
And take some food, please.